Before we made Guatemala our home base, we traveled for 3.5 months around the world.
No real plans, no structure, just vibes, maybe a few foreign flings, a lot of existential moments in incredible places.
In this episode, we're going to talk about the in-between. We're going to talk about our travel memories, things that we learned, and why this travel really impacted Born to Be Local.
This is Born to Be Local, the podcast where we take you behind the scenes of building a business and figuring out life in our 20s.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Welcome back to the Born to Be Local podcast. We have a special one for you today, let me tell you.
We do. We're getting juicy with it. Today's going to be a fun episode.
It is. We're talking about our travels of summer of 2023, our Euro summer foreign fling extravaganza, really. Before we made Guatemala our home base, we wanted to travel for a couple of months. And really it was because we knew that when we were going to start Born to Be Local, we were going to be really stuck in that location, absolutely grinding. And it just made sense. You're looking at two people who really thrive off of like a more chaotic environment per se. Like we need things to be changing all the time to stay entertained. And it just made a lot more sense if we did some travel, we got the travel bug out of our system, and then came back to Guatemala.
Yes, and boy, did we. We went full on for this trip. We did not hold back. We didn't really have a plan. We just kind of booked like the main things and went with the flow.
Yeah, we were really embracing the main character energy of our lives. You know, at that point, I had just quit my job and I was moving out of the country, and now I'm doing months of travel. Aaron was already just flying free as a bird. So we really went full throttle of Euro summer 2023 and Asia. But let me tell you, we got some good stories for you, a lot of memories that we made during this time, and we're going to share them today.
Let's do it. So there was about 2 months before we met up in Europe that we were both traveling separately, doing our own things. And these 2 months were a lot of fun. We both went to a lot of different countries. I started off in Montreal for my birthday with my stepmom and my little sister. Super fun. Flew from there directly to Japan. I went to Tokyo. That was insane. Like such a beautiful place, crazy culture. That's the most different place I've ever been to.
Yeah,
Like I felt like I was in a video game and it was insane.
that's what everybody says.
It's insane. Like they're just so ahead and everyone there is just so kind. Like it's just incredible. The food, the sushi, don't even get me started, okay? But I went from there to Bali. I actually spent a month in Bali. Canggu was like insane. Everywhere you go, it's the mecca of hot people that work online and are like, you know, what's the word? Oh, they're digital nomads. They own a business. They're all like shredded and glowing, just like bronzed goddesses walking around everywhere. Everyone's young. It was just like, it was crazy to see that. I spent a month there. I could live there. That was insane. That was truly like, didn't want to leave.
I love Bali. I almost moved to Bali.
Yeah, we should.
I know. Eventually, we will maybe bring it to Bali because we both love Bali so much.
Yeah, it's insane. So then I flew from there to Europe and I did Tokyo and Bali with one of my best friends. And then I did a little bit of solo traveling and then went to Europe, met up with one of my other best friends, Mary, in Croatia. We did the yacht week there, which was insane. And then from there, we went to Spain and highly do not recommend going to Madrid in August. In the middle of August, it was insane. Way too hot. Way too hot. No one's there. All the locals leave because it's so hot. There's just like no breeze at all. Even at night, it never cools off. So, although it was a beautiful city, it's my first time there, I would not go back in August or in the summer. Like, it was awful. Couldn't even go explore a lot. We went to the movies and saw the Barbie movie because it was so fucking hot. We're like, we need to be inside with AC. That is just blasphemy going to the movie theater while you're on vacation, but we had no other option. What was after that? Oh, Barcelona. and Ibiza. Barcelona just has a special place in my heart. I've been there a few times. It's the first place I ever went overseas to Europe, and that trip 8 years ago literally changed my life, and I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing now if I didn't take that trip. So, Barcelona just really it has my heart. I love it so much.
So I have to pull up notes because I have the memory of a goldfish and I went to so many different countries. But the first place that I went was Spain. So I started off in Barcelona and I was with a friend of mine and we just had so much fun. Like we were just frolicking throughout that town and I really fell in love with Barcelona too. Like I could definitely see myself living there at some point. I think it's like such a cool town. Um, so we spent a bunch of time in Spain. We went to Mallorca and I spent like over a week in Mallorca. I didn't do Mallorca right. Like I was just in one town the whole time and I really was going stir crazy, even though, I had some fun activities happening in Mallorca. But um I was going a little stir crazy because I stayed in one place too much, and so recently I went back and I did it right, and we could talk about that itinerary later if you guys need recommendations, but yeah, so we did Mallorca, and that was so much fun, and then we went to Ibiza. Ibiza. I just seriously, I am an Ibiza girly. Like, I don't care if that's like, if people are like, oh my gosh, like you like Ibiza, blah, blah. No, Ibiza is incredible. It's one of those places that you can see a bunch of incredible artists days in a row. And I spent a week in Ibiza. So, plenty of stories for you there. So from Spain, I went to London. So I started traveling. I was traveling with friends. Then I started traveling with my mom and also my mom, one of my best friends and her mom. And so we were in London and then we went to Amsterdam. Um, London is obviously beautiful and Amsterdam, so fun and so different. Like Amsterdam is so different. It's just like I didn't know what to expect because I know nothing about that side of the world. And it was just first of all, once again, the hottest human beings riding bikes through the town, model, model, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, my mom and I were like, wow, this feels like a fever dream.
The style there too. Everyone's style, incredible.
No one's dressed ugly. Everybody is dressed like really, really well, but like hipsters. There's hipsters everywhere. Oh my gosh. Love that place. My mom and I went to a coffee shop, if you know what I'm talking about. We did all the things. We wanted to have the experience. And my mom, she's like the mean girl's mom. She's a cool mom. Okay. She wants to do all the things. She wants to go to the club. She wants to do everything. So we did all the things. So from Amsterdam, we went to Croatia. Incredible. Just another like really cool place. I will say, in my experience, like Croatia was really unfriendly people.
I agree.
They do not like Americans. I'm not saying all Croatians. Okay. Not all of them. But in my experience, like super unfriendly people. I was like, "Holy crap, this is a lot because 'cause we're in such a beautiful country and you, like, want to experience it well, and for us, like, half of it is the people,
Yeah, for sure.
And I just thought they were really unfriendly, unfortunately, which I understand the way that tourism affects countries is a controversial topic. And while we were in Croatia, we decided to do a trip to Montenegro. Also really cool, but once again, the people not very friendly, and I had a Montenegro was we're not even gonna get into that because I can't talk about this person anymore on this podcast. So, after Montenegro, we went to Italy. This was the highlight. I don't care what people say, Italy is not overrated. It is one of the most incredible places in the world to me. I cannot believe the beauty there. I cannot believe how good the food is. It makes me feel like I'm eating shit every single day in my life. It is so incredibly beautiful, and the people are even more beautiful. Like, I just absolutely loved Italy. And then I ended up adding Germany to my list, and I went to Germany for a little bit, and I was solo traveling there. That was a lot of fun. I met up with some friends and saw them, and love the food. Germans, although not super warm at first, they warm up to you and then like they're like teddy bears. So that's why I like that culture of like it's okay if at first you're a little like
Mhm.
but then as you warm up and like you get friendlier, I like that. And then after Germany, I finally met up with Aaron and I had a lot of fun when we were together. But this is where the real fun started, was in France. Okay, so after we did the travel alone, I know we briefly touched on that, but honestly, when we met was when the juice of the story happened. So I went from Germany to France, and you went from where were you?
Um, Ibiza. I was in Ibiza with Mary, and Mary came with us throughout this month of us traveling together, but sometimes we would sneak off in the night, and
Yes.
she would wanna go back. Mary would wanna go back to the Airbnb, and we're like, "You know what? Like, we wanna go out a little bit." So, we would get into some trouble together.
We think that nightlife, and especially at our age, but honestly at every age, like when you travel, nightlife should be a part of your experience, whether you drink or not. I think like you get to see a lot about a culture and a place when you do their nightlife. So no matter how tired, how exhausted, how hungover we were going out every single night without fail. I seriously can't remember a night we didn't go out. We went out every single night.
Yeah, we're rally queens.
We are rally queens, we go through phases in life. I know we've talked about this before. We're really all or nothing people, but yeah, we have to experience nightlife. So we went to France. We had a very cute Airbnb.
We did. Yeah, it was, except we went right in the middle of a heat wave, of course, and there was, like, one tiny little AC unit that we were all just, like, taking turns sitting in front of. It was very hot, but it was so cute, like, high ceilings, the furniture was gorgeous, it was this nice apartment in a beautiful area. We could walk to everything.
Yeah, Nice was really pretty. The beaches are like stunning. It's rock beaches with super blue water, and I had like one of the most memorable meals in my life there, which is crazy because it was like it's not like it was like a highly rated anything, but we had a seafood pasta there that
Oh.
was better than honestly, it was better than any seafood pasta I ate in Italy. I don't know what it was about this pasta, but I still think about it to this day. I have a photo of it in my bedroom. It was just so good. The food there was great.
It was, yeah.
There was a lot of touristy spots though, like in the center of Nice, like you've got like the hard rock vibe and all that, but it was cool. I think, you know, like every destination, there's good parts and there's bad parts, and there's good people and there's bad people. For me in particular, I felt pretty unsafe in Nice, especially when the sun went down. Like I was not comfortable walking at nighttime. It just got like pretty sketchy and eerie in the streets and stuff. And it's valid feelings because Aaron got robbed.
I did. My entire purse. But, uh well, okay, so we had a full day of exploring. A full day, and we decide after dinner, we're like, "You know what? Let's go get a drink," and it was at the same bar that we had been going to for our whole trip because it was, like, this really poppin' bar, a lot of cute people go there, it's right on the water, super cute. So, we decide to go, we go in our daytime clothes, like, we're, like, clubbing, like, moms in there with, like, flowy dresses, and everyone's in, like, tiny little skirts and little crop tops. We're like, "Oh."
I was in a poncho.
She was.
I was in a flowy poncho with matching pants at the club. I don't recommend. Don't go out in your Euro day clothes to the club. You got to change.
Yeah, you gotta change. So we had a few drinks. Mary ended up leaving from there to go back to the Airbnb, and we're like, "You know what? Few drinks in, let's go skinny dipping." Great idea.
Because, okay, you're gonna be like, no wonder you guys got robbed. You guys are stupid as fuck. Because there was so many people on the beach, and especially at like 1, 2, 3 in the morning, there was like groups of people just hanging out on the beach, like travelers and stuff. So we had already seen that travelers like hang out on the beach. And prior to that, we had been on the beach already, like later in the night. We just didn't go skinny dipping. But you know what? When in France, okay? When in Europe, when in France, we're like, let's go skinny dipping.
It was a full moon.
Yeah, that too. What you guys
We ducked off to a spot where it was dark and, like, we were kind of away from people, so we thought, like, no one even saw us go right there. But, you know, we get in the water, we take off, you know, take off our clothes. I put my dress, my beautiful sundress on top of my purse, okay? I'm like, I shove it, I kinda hide my purse. We get in, I take some pictures I remember I took some pictures of you in the water with the full moon. They were incredible photos. I wish I had them. But after I took the photos, I went and put my phone back in my purse and got back in the water. All of a sudden, this guy comes up to us and he won't leave us alone while we're in the water. He's like trying to talk to us. Right? It was just one at first.
It was one at first, but, like, his friends were, like, up kind of watching too, and he just kept getting closer and closer, and, like, he was speaking French, and Aaron and I know, like, a little bit of French, so we could tell he was being creepy, and he just kept getting closer, and he wouldn't stop, and so all of a sudden, like, 3 of his friends start coming down, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck. This is not good because 'cause we're both naked in the water. So, like, we didn't wanna get out of the water because we were naked, um, and we're not French, so we don't go topless to the beaches, this is not the vibe. So, um, he's just getting closer and closer, and we're like, "Dude, stop, 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 like, do not get closer to us, do not get closer to us." He won't stop, like, he's getting, like, a couple feet away from us, so we just start chucking rocks at this guy, like, chucking rocks. We're in the water, and there's just little pebbles everywhere. We are throwing rocks so hard and so fast at this guy. Meanwhile, the people that he was with were coming closer, and they were coming closer to our stuff. So I was watching, I could see them coming, and I knew that I had like, a feeling that that's where they were coming was, like, to get closer to where our bags were.
Well, they had a whole plan. Like, at first, it was the one guy that came, and then it was one of his other friends that came and was like, "Hey, dude, stop it." Like, trying to play like he's the good guy, trying to get him to stop. And then that was a little distraction. And then the rest of them came. And I guess while all of that was happening and we're like throwing rocks, they swiped my entire bag.
Sucked. So they, like, just walked off with the bag, and we were in the water, and we're like, "Holy fuck." So we get out. Obviously, we realize that they took the bag, and we can track it. We can see, like, we immediately logged in. We can see her phone is, like, down the street. So we, like, get up, and we're both just, like, our heart is pounding out of our ass. We were, like, freaking out. But we were just trying to, like, figure out if we could get her purse back, and we, like, tried to call the police, but it literally wasn't working, and yeah, you hate to see it. It's the stories that people talk about in Europe. It's an unfortunate thing about traveling. I mean, in general, it can happen anywhere, but, like, Europe in particular has, like, a really high theft rate, and they just had, like, a whole scheme. They didn't take my bag because I hid my bag, like, kind of under rocks. Like, it was very much so under rocks the way that I, like, did it, so I don't think they saw it, and I think they were kind of, like, watching Erin put her bag back and the phone back and everything, so that sucked. Phone gone, purse gone, photos gone.
Photos.
Pissed.
Pissed. Credit cards gone. Debit card gone.
And this is the beginning of us meeting to travel together,
Yeah,
and
we still had 2 more countries to go to after this.
so annoying.
So I had to go the next day to a little, like, phone like, a used phone place, and I just bought, like, a used iPhone 6 for, like, 200 bucks or something. But, at least I had a form of communication. But my pictures, like, I missed out on so many good photos. But you know what? It was all replaceable, and I'm just glad that we're okay, and I don't regret it. I don't regret going skinny dipping 'cause that's still, like, even though that scary memory kind of tainted it, like, I still it was so fun. It was so enjoyable before that happened.
It was out of a movie, like, it literally was the moonlight, and the water looked beautiful, and, like, the water was the perfect temperature, it was incredible, minus the that stole the purse.
Yeah.
Now, what did we learn from this situation? Let me tell you. You don't wanna rob us, okay?
Yeah.
I did not know at this point when we were traveling together, we obviously hadn't experienced something like this where Aaron and I needed, like, put our fists up and get, okay? But, I was like, "Whoa, she's a ride or die, and she gonna fight." You have the option of fight or flight. We are both in that sense, we're in the fight mode because that's just how we had to be, and we were both throwing rocks and screaming at this guy, cussing him out, telling him a lot of bad things to get him to go away, and I was like, "Alright." We're we're good.
We caused the scene.
We definitely caused a scene, like, I could tell people were kind of starting to look and stuff. It sucks because there really was a lot of people on the beach and, like, no one ran over and, like, said anything. But anyways, that was the start. That's not even the craziest story, okay? That's not even the craziest story, but that was the start of our travels was France. But obviously besides that, it was really beautiful. And from there we went to Italy.
Italy, yes. Italy was gorgeous. We started in Rome. Yeah, we started in Rome, we flew into there. We were there for a couple days. Food, insane. Gelato, insane. Fell in love with that place. We did do a lot of, like, the touristy things, but, I mean, it was still amazing.
To see buildings though. Yeah. Like buildings are tough when you say like touristy because it's like, yes, it is touristy, but it's like it's a culture thing. And we wanted to see the buildings and it was so worth it. It was really beautiful.
You have to see it. And that sandwich place that everyone goes to, there's a reason everyone goes there.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. They just opened one in LA, which like in hindsight, that sucks. But that sandwich, pistachio cream, mortadella, stracciatella. Oh my gosh, that shit is so good. We also went to the little island Ischia, and that was another incredible experience. That place is not super touristy. Um, it's just this small little island. It reminds me of Formentera in Spain, if you know anything about that. And it just was like, once again, out of a movie.
Mhm.
Out of a movie.
Stunning. You had to, like, walk down this skinny road to get there, and along the way, there was this cart with this little old lady selling a bunch of lemons, and it just looked so picturesque and perfect, and then, like, as you make the corner, you just see this stunning beach with all the chairs lined up and, like, oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. It was, like, water like, the little beach on this side with boats and everything, and then on the other side of the strip of, like, sand or rocks, whatever it was, there was more water with, like, a sailboat passing by. It was just incredible. We went to Naples as well, and a lot of people don't have great things to say about Naples, which is very surprising because we absolutely loved it.
I loved Naples. First of all, the pizza is ridiculous. The food there is also incredible, not just pizza, but pasta and everything. But it was just such a it was such a cool vibe. You really felt like you were like in Italian culture. We have like a particular memory where we like Aaron and I, of course, we go exploring at nighttime because that's what we do. And we found this like little local bar and there was a soccer game that night, and it was all men over the age of 70 drinking beer and watching the soccer game, and we just came up, got a beer, started watching the game with them. And it was surreal, like, it was out of a movie, it was incredible, and they were, like, trying to communicate with us, and, like, at this point, we didn't know any Spanish, so we definitely didn't know Italian, and they were, like, trying to communicate with us and, like, kinda getting us involved in the game and stuff, and it was just one of those surreal moments of, like, "Oh my gosh, this is, like, the travel stuff people talk about that, like, you'll remember forever."
Yeah, it was definitely one of those, like, this is why you travel. It was one of those moments.
Yeah, but the pizza in Naples, oh my gosh. I actually have, like, roots in Naples. My grandma's family's from there, so I've always wanted to see it, and I did vibe with my people, okay? I vibe with my people. Yes, love Italy so much, and it was just such a cool experience. We had a lot of fun nights out and incredible meals and everything. We highly recommend going to Naples and trying it for yourself because I know a lot of people say don't go there, and, like, we really enjoyed it.
We became regulars at a bar in Naples and became friends with all of the bartenders, and that was just incredible.
We still talk to them to this day.
Yeah, I got married to one behind the bar.
I know.
Made me a ring and everything.
Yeah, just so you know, that's not the first time she's gotten married while traveling, so I would insert a clip, but we still know this person.
We do.
But yes, that was such a fun bar. We always, like, find that one spot and we do go back. We will repeat bars. We don't repeat restaurants unless, like, it's the best of the best of the best, or gelato we will repeat, but we won't repeat restaurants. But that bar we just kept going to. It was incredible. So after Italy, we ended our trip in Greece and we started off in Athens. This is another place that kind of gets a bad rep. And once again, the most incredible food, such cool culture. The layout of the town is really interesting. Like it's like these small streets and a bunch of cafes and stuff. There's a lot of street art there, and I will say like the streets are kind of dirtier, so I know people aren't into that, but I don't know, I like the grit. I like the personality.
Yeah, I loved it, and the food was some of the best I have ever had, I think. Also, I was just really happy to see some, like, tomatoes and vegetables after literally only eating pasta and bread in Italy. They're not big on vegetables where we were, but
No, no. It was big on the bread and the pasta, but
yeah.
I'm not complaining. You know, it was delicious, but we definitely needed something different. And to go from Italy to Greece, I highly recommend that switch because it's such a cultural shift and food shift and everything. Like, I like that transition.
Mhm. And the people there, like, I didn't realize how beautiful Greek boys are.
You know what? You know why she likes that? Everybody, here's a fun fact. Erin is into people with the type of eyes that, like, it's hard to do eye contact and it's hard to look at them because they're so, like, strikingly blue, you know what I'm talking about? She loves a beady eye man. She loves it. She loves a beady eye man.
I like all eyes, but, you know.
She likes the really blue one. They are beautiful. And the men in Greece, wow. Big lumberjack, strong, buff, dark hair, tan, blue eyes.
Very friendly,
Very friendly.
flirty.
Very. Even the old ones. Even the old guys, like, the confidence oh my gosh, this is how Italy was too. The confidence of the old men in Europe, specifically Italy and France is like or no, Italy and Greece, they, like they think they can pull you. Like, they are fully prepared to bring you home and, like, grandpappy at 85 years old is like, "Hey, baby girl." So, yeah, started in Athens, and then we had to do Mykonos.
Yes.
Mykonos. What a place. Like Ibiza, what a place. A new level of I don't know. It's just like a different species of human being. And I think Ibiza is too. But Mykonos in particular, because people would always say like Mykonos is much crazier than Ibiza. Like, I don't think I agree with that.
No.
They are like equal level of crazy, but there's something about Mykonos that really flips the switch in terms of the absolute craziness. And one memory in particular is a night that we had at a very popular day club place.
Super Paradise Beach Club.
Super Paradise Beach Club.
This was a day and a night. We spent 7 hours here.
Not like, oh, you guys are lying 7. No. We spent 7 hours there and didn't realize that.
That didn't include, like, laying out, tanning, swimming. We maybe went on the beach for, like, 20, 30 minutes. We were drinking and dancing and talking to people the entire time.
I just need you guys to like imagine like a spring break Cancun vibe, but like that times 1000. And then maybe you consumed fungi, if you know what I'm saying. That is what Super Paradise Beach Club was like. And we were there for 7 hours and it was just wild.
They had a twerk instructor. I don't know if you've seen on TikTok, this guy went viral a while ago, but it's like the big guy that goes and picks up girls over his shoulder and brings them onto the stage. That's the place. So there was him, he was doing that. It turned into like a glow party at night, and we were all getting our face painted, like
It came out of nowhere. Suddenly, that guy that was carrying everybody just grabbed your face like this. We'll insert a video, grabbed your face like this, and just started painting your face. Zero consent. And at this point, after the 2-for-1 drinks all day, yeah, you heard me, 2-for-1 drinks all day, and they did not hold back on the liquor. We were 2-for-1ing.
we were.
We were 2-for-1ing all 7 hours. There was karaoke at one point.
There was
There was a oiled up Tarzan standing on a platform dancing for hours.
I loved him. I was following him around. I
For hours. Aaron would just walk over and stand directly below the Tarzan and just be, like, fist pumping, and Tarzan would be, like, very intensely dancing in her face, and I just, like, I kept taking videos of this, but we can't put it on TikTok, it keeps getting blocked. TikTok hates Tarzan.
Yeah, well, Tarzan's got a lot going on.
He definitely had a lot going on. There was a lot going on, and there was a little amount of clothing happening on that man.
Very little.
Well,
One claw.
it was just the amount of clips we got that just are insane clips. the amount of photos that we have from this night that can never see the light of day, but we will include some on our Instagram, so make sure and go look at those. It was a fever dream, truly. At one point, um, her friend Mary lost her phone. So we were looking for a phone for about an hour. We kept dancing and then looking for a phone for about an hour. Finally found that. In the process of searching for this phone, I'm on the other side of the beach looking for it. They're on one side. I'm like walking and I literally, my foot hits a human being. It was dark at this point. My foot hits a human being and I look down and there's a girl passed out in the sand. Okay, fully passed out in the sand. I'm, like, trying to wake her up, trying to wake her up. She finally wakes up and asks where she was, and I was like, "You're at Super Paradise Beach Club, girlie.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. You're at the club, girl. Let's go dance." And she was like, obviously I didn't say it like that, but I tried to ask her, like, where she was staying because I wanted to get her a taxi back, and I literally carried her from the beach to the entrance and put her in a taxi, and I got the taxi's number, and I also threatened him. I was like, "You bring this girl right home. She's gonna message me when she's home, and if she doesn't message me, I already have your license plate, I have your name, I have your number. I'm giving this to the police." And so, luckily, she made it home. But it was just there was a lot of chaos happening. We stayed until it closed. We stayed until the security escorted us out of this club. Oh my gosh.
Spread my ashes in Super Paradise Beach Club. Truly.
A piece of me was left there that day.
Yeah.
A piece of me was left there that day and like, would I go back? Maybe. Maybe. Honestly, don't go, but maybe go.
Maybe.
Honestly, like, don't it's a lot, but if you're gonna go, you should go. You know, Super Paradise Beach Club, it was fun. We were talking to a lot of people the whole night. It wasn't as much like we were, like, flirting and stuff. We were in our own world. We were dancing our asses off. We were doing karaoke. But obviously, you know, through the European travel, as we talked, there's just many countries, many beautiful men. And something we've been talking about on our Instagram is foreign flings, and we just feel like we need to talk about this with the people.
This is an important subject and something that everyone should experience in their lifetime.
So, a big part of travel when you're young and you're single is what we like to call a foreign fling. What is a foreign fling to you?
To me, a foreign fling is someone that you connect with that is outside of your country, okay? Someone that you maybe have relations with, someone that you go on a date with, maybe someone that you meet on the first day of your trip and you end up spending 3 days with them. Maybe someone that you end up spending a whole week with. Maybe someone you end up seeing every few years and meeting up and doing that in different countries.
Are you speaking from personal experience, by any chance?
Oh, not at all.
Yes, that's what a foreign fling is. It really is just like a you build a connection with somebody, but it's not somebody that you necessarily date long term. It's just you're traveling and you're having this experience. Why are foreign flings so much fun? We're going to tell you because when you're traveling in particular, you are in travel mindset, which is very different from reality mindset. Um, you just are like happier. You're happier and you're feeling the vibes. And when you connect with people, when you're in this like level of happiness, it just is that much better. So you get to just experience things and experience different people when you're traveling, like, in a really positive way, we think.
Yeah.
Not for everybody. That's fine. That's fine. You don't have to listen to this if this ain't for you, but it's just a cool thing to do, and it doesn't mean you have to have relations with these people, okay, if that's what we're gonna say. But you just build connections with people, and sometimes, sometimes you have relations with them, and sometimes you don't. Maybe it's a little smooch.
Yeah,
Smooch.
a hug, kiss on the cheek. But I think it also is easier and more fun to connect with people when you are traveling because you're experiencing new things and just experiencing new things with someone like right off the bat, you're already going to be more connected than you would if you're doing something that you would do in your everyday life, you know? It's more exciting, there's more thrill to it. So, you know, it's just a fun, spontaneous part of traveling.
It is, for sure, and we definitely recommend obviously, if you're in a happy relationship, we're happy for you, but if you're not in a relationship and you're single, go to Europe.
Take advantage of your single time.
Yes, I don't recommend going into Euro summer, you know, in a situationship or anything, like, cut that off, go in single. For me in particular, summer 2023. Of course, right before it starts, I end up meeting this guy. Might I add, I was already telling everybody and was moving out of the country. So I was not expecting to meet somebody that, like, I had a lot of feelings for within that short amount of time. It's also not easy for me to have feelings for you, okay? I got like a I do have a heart, but there's like a shell, very tough shell on the outside of that one. So it takes some time for me to like actually develop feelings for somebody. And of course, I meet this guy. We'll call him
Vlog.
Flog. Flog. I meet Flog, okay? And him and I like connect super quickly. I end up flying to another state of the United States to see this man and stay with him for a week. Which I don't fly to see no man, but I did this one because the connection was so intense. We connect, we are talking about how like we want to somehow make this work and like, continued to get to know each other and everything. Obviously, it was early on, but we were talking for quite a while at that point, and we wanted to try and continue to communicate even when I was going on my Euro girl summer. Not that he was too happy about the Euro girl summer, but especially because of who I was traveling with at the time. Love you, but yeah. So I kind of like started Euro summer like wifed up. And then, of course, as men do, everything was totally fine. We're talking, and then, like, the first part of my trip starts, which was Spain, and I could just tell the communication was just drifting, 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 and eventually I get ghosted. Classic. Wish it was the first time in my life, but definitely wasn't. I get full on ghosted by this guy, out of, like, actually out of nowhere. Like, yes, the communication was fading, but, like, what he was saying was not giving, "I'm just gonna stop talking to you 100%." So yeah, I get ghosted by him. So we never really like officially end things, which was very strange. But at this point, I'm in Europe. I'm in my like, fuck you and fuck this. I'm gonna have fun. I'm in Europe. I should not be sad over a man. Flog. Okay. Um, so, that's when the Euro summer girly foreign fling energy entered exactly 2 days after things ended, let's say, or after I, like, came to the realization that that wasn't gonna work, I met
Quick turnaround time.
a girl's gotta do what she's gotta do, and I
Yeah.
really God delivered this one to me because let me tell you something, for the sake of this podcast, we're gonna call him Wilson, okay? Um, Wilson was a, like, hot Australian gentleman and was older, an appropriate age, but was older. Super successful, he was in Mallorca at the time. I met him on the beach in Mallorca, and he was there for work, or he had, like, a few days in between, so he decided to come to Mallorca for a couple days, and we met on the beach. This guy was It wasn't like we had these, like, profound conversations where it was just like, "Oh my gosh, we have, like, so much in common." It was that, like, immediately when we met, there was just, like, this very intense chemistry between us and a lot of tension, relational tension.
Which also brings up a point that, like, with these foreign flings, a lot of like, 90% of the time, you're not gonna speak their language. So it just goes to show that, like, you can have a really deep connection with someone in chemistry without even speaking their language, you know, without speaking to each other. So this is maybe one of those situations, even though he spoke English, but, like, you know.
He didn't speak much. He spoke English, but he didn't speak much. We didn't have crazy conversation, but there was definitely, like, a vibe going between us. And yeah, we continued to see each other a couple times while I was in Mallorca, and it was just so much fun. He was an absolute gentleman. He was really cool. And honestly, we still kind of DM back and forth every once in a while. Like it was one of those foreign flings where it was like nothing bad happened. It ended super positively, and like we keep in touch every once in a while, and it's fun. It's fun. And then I went to Ibiza after that. And Ibiza, people in Ibiza, men in particular, are definitely on the prowl and they're very intense.
Very on the prowl, very intense, yes.
Like, wow. I was overwhelmed. I'm not somebody that like fiends for attention. So having like people trying like every walk of the earth, every age doesn't matter, like trying to hit on you, trying to get you to whatever was just it was a lot. But there was a particular day where I went to a day club called Blue Marlin. Shout out Blue Marlin, man. I love this place. I just went there with my mom when I was there like a couple weeks ago, but I was at Blue Marlin and this was a day that my friends didn't want to go. Um like, they were just all tired and rally queens. I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go," go because I was loving the vibes there, so I went there and oh, no, my friend was with me originally, and then she left early. She was, like, over it and she was tired, and I was like, "Well, I'm staying because I love this place." And, so we're hanging out there or I'm hanging out there by myself, and this guy comes up to me, and he looks like, Thor if Thor had tattoos. Um, like, he looked like he should be carrying an axe. He looked like a lumberjack. He was absolutely stunning, okay? And he walks up to me, and he's like, who are you here with?" And I was like, "Honestly, I'm here by myself right now." And then comes his twin.
Wow.
His
Wow.
twin, Thor's twin walks up. I got 2 Thors with tattoos. I love tattoos. I love, fit men. Um, they walk up and they're like, "Come over to our table, let's hang out." So I'm like, "Okay." I walk over. It is a table of 15 lumberjack men. They all looked the same. It was all really big buff guys with tattoos, and a lot of them were so good looking. Um and in the corner, there's this guy sitting down and he's got big chains on. He's shirtless and he's just sitting, observing. And he gives me this. Okay, he's sitting in the corner. I'm like, I think I'm getting myself into a situation. He comes over and he's like, "Sit, please." It was like The Godfather. Please come. And I sit down.
Wait, where were they from?
They were from the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, they were from the UK, and which is I didn't know this type of people came out of the UK, but it was really something. And so he comes over or I come over and I sit next to him and he's like, "Are you hanging out with us today?" And I'm like, I mean, I hope so. You guys are cool because we had been hanging out for a while and he was kind of just watching me. And he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get you anything you want today." And I was like, "What?"
Love those words.
He's like, "I'm gonna get you wherever you want today. So tell me what do you want?" And I was like, "You don't need to do that. Seriously, like I'm enjoying my time hanging out with you." I get really uncomfortable when people buy me stuff. It's a thing that I'm trying to get over. Like I just get very uncomfortable. So I'm not that type of girl. So I was just like, "Oh no, it's okay." And he's like, "No, really." I'm like, "Well, actually, like I haven't eaten all day. I'm really hungry." And he's like, "Do you want some sushi?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sushi sounds great." He orders a boat, not a boat, okay? A boat, a life-size boat of sushi with every sushi roll you could possibly imagine to the table. I'm like, "Okay." Everybody's eating out of the sushi bowl. They have bottles after bottles after bottles at this table, and we are having the time of our lives. I have videos with these guys, like, also, none of them were creepy and none of them like Of course, there was some hitting on me, but they were not creepy at all like the other men that were trying to, like, lure me to their table. They were super cool. A majority of them had wives. They were doing, like, a boys' trip, and I was just hanging out with them, like, one of the boys, and it was so much fun. I seriously will never forget this day, and it was just an absolute blast, and I hung out with them for hours, and, the kind of, like, head guy, the guy that was sitting in the corner called me over or whatever, um him and I, like, were talking a lot throughout that day, and the girl comes over with the bill. She comes over with the bill, okay, and he hands it to me, and he's like, "Can you sign this for me? I don't have my glasses." When I tell you, my heart I dropped to my ass when I saw this $40,000 bill for the table and the bottles and the sushi and everything that was ordered for the whole day. It literally was $40,000, not to mention you have to add tip on top of this. I had to add tip. I was like, what does one" I had to Google it. I was like, "What does one even tip on this bill?" It was insane. Ibiza is an absolute beast, and I love it so much. That was just a day I'll never forget.
It's so much fun too traveling solo or, like, being solo in places like that because you can get in the most crazy situations when you're just, like, 1 or 2 people. It's so easy to slip into new groups and, like, you just find yourself in a lot of different situations when you're alone or just 2 people.
Yeah. It's just and especially in Ibiza too, like, obviously, it's better to be a girl in Ibiza, no offense, like, it's just easier for things, but, you just, like, meet people, and you're in like, a particular mindset, and it's, like especially there, you're, like, in this party mindset, and everybody's just, like, wanting to have the best time ever, and you end up meeting really cool people, which I ended up meeting foreign fling number 2, summer 2023, on the beach in Ibiza. They were from a country. I can't say the country because I know they're gonna watch this, but I ended up meeting, like, a group of these guys on the beach, and they were just so at first, they were, like, so standoffish and, like, trying to act all cool and stuff, and then they, like, warmed up and ended up being super cool. I ended up getting really, really close with one of them who I still talk to literally every single week. I still talk to this guy. It's been 2 years. Him and I became really good friends. And, I became friends with his friends too. And one in particular. So it was a lot of fun. That was a fun fling for me. He was like maybe 2 years older than me and just absolutely such a cutie. Such a cutie. Still think about like I still think that about him to this day, even though he was kind of an asshole. But you know what? That happens in foreign flings too. If you can handle it right, it was a lot of fun. And I ended up seeing him after Ibiza again when I was traveling in the country that they're from. And, we saw each other again, and it was just so much fun, and he still messages me every once in a while, but I'm still friends with, like, that whole group, and again, like, all positive thoughts about that. It was so much fun, and, like, I don't regret it. I actually hope to see them again.
Yeah. Another positive thing of foreign flings, becoming friends with their friends, and then having friends for life in all parts of the world.
This is really we didn't touch on that, but it really is, like, one of the highlights of foreign flings or meeting people around the world is, like, you have that connection, so anytime you travel to that country, you can message that person and be like, "Hey, I'm here, do you have any connections?" And they'll connect you with friends, like, that's how beneficial my foreign flings have been, like, I go to that country and I'm like, "Hey, do you have any recommendations?" Or there's even guys that I've talked to or, smooched in the past, well, who cares? And they, like, DM and say, like, "When are you coming back?" And I recently went back and I got recommendations from them and they connected us with somebody, so it's, like, cool to have that connection, but yeah, Ibiza, lots of fun. Shout out Wilson and shout out, the Wolf Pack. Shout out the wolf pack, that's what we'll call them. I know they're gonna love that. The wolf pack from Ibiza. Love you guys too.
That is a good transition after a shitty situationship, a shitty ending to a situationship, I guess, or dating r situation.
Yeah.
Great way to turn that around. The beginning of my summer 2023, I was actually pretty chill. I was very chill with my
Why is she laughing? Why is she laughing? Did you see that?
No, I'm not laughing. So anyway, I started off, actually, this wasn't a foreign fling, but this guy came up to me in Japan. I was in, like, I'm not even gonna say the name because I can't pronounce it, but it's this cute little alleyway with all these little different restaurants. I was with my friend Cindy. She went to the bathroom, so I was in the alleyway by myself for literally like 5 minutes, and within those 5 minutes, this guy comes up to me and just starts talking to me. He's from Canada, he's really cool, super sweet. He, like, asked me about my camera because I had it on me, and we exchanged Instagrams, and he was, like, inviting me to go out to dinner that night and trying to make plans to see me again while I was there, but the timing just didn't work out. So we talked for a little bit, and, like, maybe a few months after that, and the other day, I was going through my DMs to find screenshots for this for this episode of, like, screenshots of messages and DMs from foreign flings, and I saw his message in my inbox, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I kind of forgot about him, like, I wonder how he's doing." I clicked the message and realized I never responded to him, like, I left him on red, 2 years ago.
She left him on red for 2 years.
For 2 years, and I told Gabrielle, and she's like, "You should message him." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, really?" Like, it's kinda weird, right, after 2 years, but I guess, like, better late than never, and also, like, he's living in Bali now. This is maybe a little too specific, but he's living in Bali now. I'm like, I just wonder what he's doing.
And he's cute, and he's successful, and he does business stuff, we'll keep it vague, and
Yes.
that's fun, we love that.
Yes, and yeah, very cute. So I messaged him back, and I just responded to his message that he sent me 2 years ago. He was going to, like, a Tony Robbins, conference and, was saying something about that, so I responded to that message. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing. How was it?" Like, "Haha, long time no talk. Like, how have you been?" And he responded, he's like, "Haha, it's been almost 2 years, dot, dot, dot."
He didn't think it was as funny as we thought it was.
No. But then we got into some voice messages and, he's doing great. And he was like, "Yeah, a lot of people would think it's, like, awkward to reach out after 2 years, but, I'm like, I'm glad you did." So, we're all good there. And that wasn't a fling, but that was just a funny little almost fling. Um, but other than that, I mean, we went to when I was in Bali, I ended up meeting up with a long-term foreign fling. This guy I met 8 years ago on my first trip to Europe.
Camper.
Yeah, we'll call him Camper. Um, this is, for me, one of the best situations that you can have with a foreign fling. We just connected, we hit it off, and we both know that, like, we're not gonna be together, But we do have such a great connection when we're with each other, and we have so much fun together. So and we keep in touch when we're not together or whatever, and, over 8 years, we have been in relationships, and when we are in relationships, like, we're respectful of that and, we don't talk, but we always, end up reconnecting, and sometimes we'll reconnect in different parts of the world. Like, if we're on the same side of the world, if we're close to each other, we will meet up. We've met up in Tulum, we have met up in Spain, we met up in Bali, so I ended up spending, like, a few days with him, and that was so fun. I see him, maybe every 2 years or something, and it's so fun. We act like we're in a relationship when we're together, but, at the end of the day, it is a foreign fling, and, like, love him so much, but it'll stay a foreign fling.
And there's a mutual understanding there that it is that. So it's not hurting anybody's feelings. It's like, this is what it is. We love it for what it is, and that's it. Like, there's no expectations from it.
Exactly, and love that, and we're able to talk to each other about other relationships or whatever. Like, I will go to him for boy advice, honestly, because he will give it to me, like, straight up, and I really appreciate that and love that,
Mhm.
So, actually, I went I went to him for advice about liar, liar, pants on fire. This is a foreign fling that we met. We again, Gabrielle and I were out on our little escapade in Rome, in Rome, and, when in Rome, we go down this alley. You got that. So, we went down this little alleyway to go to this sandwich shop that we had been going to every night because they were open until, like, 2 or 3 in the morning, and we needed food. There's a fly. And we needed food. So, we're walking, there's this big group of guys in front of us, walking ahead of us, and we hear English. We're like, "Are those Americans?" So
Gringos?
gringos? So, we just say, "Hey." We're like, "Hey, like, what's up?" And they turn around and we start talking. Turns out they're all Americans there for a wedding, and 2 of the friends stay behind, and we end up talking to these 2 friends for, like, an hour in this alleyway. We're just talking, hanging out. I'm flirting with Liar Liar Pants on Fire. It's going well. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this guy bleh, bleh, bleh." So, we exchange Instagrams, leave it at that. I don't really talk to him again after that, kinda forget about it. We go on our trip, like, the rest of our trip, amazing, but I'm like, "Oh, that guy was cool." So, that stayed there. But then, over the course of the next year, year and a half or so, we kept in touch through Instagram. So then, later on, like around this time last year, he starts DMing me more. And he's always joking, like, I'm going to come to Guatemala, I'm going to come to Guatemala, whatever. And he actually came to Guatemala. So, that turns into us doing a long distance dating thing for 6 months. And that was very unexpected, but, that happened. So things like that can happen from foreign flings. And even though he wasn't a foreign fling, it was, yeah, he's an American, but we met in Rome. So, we were overseas. It was a foreign fling, and unfortunately, it didn't end in a happy story, so maybe I don't recommend doing that, but, he got his name Liar Liar Pants on Fire for a reason, and that ended fairly recently, so, you know, long distance is hard. Started dating another girl while we were still dating, so
Yeah, it's hard, but, like, you just could not lie, and then it makes things easier.
yeah.
If you're a guy listening to this podcast, just simply don't lie and be honest, and then you don't look like an asshole. But was the story of meeting this person was cool, meeting him in an alleyway and stuff and reconnecting. And, you know, us collectively as a couple learned so much from that person. So much from that person. Like, I'm sure you learned so much, and I really learned a lot being your friend and seeing you go through a situation like that. So, even though sometimes it's not a positive outcome with the foreign fling, it's an outcome that is worth the story, it's worth the lesson, and every situation like that, you learn something.
And I have a bonus foreign fling. This is not one from summer of 2023, but this is one from my first solo trip in Europe. I met this guy out at a club, and we ended up talking all night. He came back to my Airbnb. I know I shouldn't bring strangers home, but, sue me. And we talked all night. We did not do anything, didn't even kiss. And we just talked all night. A year later, I go back to Europe. I end up staying with him for a few days just to, like, he's like, "Oh, yeah, you're gonna come to wherever, like, you stay with me, no problem." I end up staying with him for a few days. So much fun. He was working, I was, like, out exploring, so we only saw each other we saw each other a little bit, but, it was so fun and so nice. I'm like, "Okay, now I have a friend here and a local to show me around." And now he's coming to Guatemala in November, and I get to show him around here. He's not gonna stay with us, but, I get to show him around here, and that is a foreign fling that I have kept in touch with for 8 years now, 7, 8 years. So, these things, they can turn into lifelong friendships, and whenever you're, like, on each other's side of the world, you could meet up.
Okay. So we thought it would be fun to do a segment about foreign flings and ask each other 10 rapid fire questions that we have not seen. I promise we have not seen these questions. I have no idea what she's going to ask me. I'm a little scared. And also, this is like in general, all the foreign flings of our life. So we are going to ask each other 10 rapid fire questions and, you get to enjoy the answers.
Yay.
Okay, I'm going to start.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
No.
3, 2, 1. Who's a foreign fling you regret?
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Best kisser.
Ooh. Camper?
Have you ever had a fling that you didn't know their real name?
No.
Who was the best relations with?
Oh, I don't want to say him, but it's true. It was. Papaya.
She whispered it. Who's your least favorite?
Least favorite relations?
Least favorite foreign fling?
Oh. Oh. I mean, liar, liar, pants on fire.
Duh. Who is your favorite?
Oh, camper.
A Croatian yacht boy or a Spanish surfer?
Ooh. Both.
Just one.
Spanish surfer.
Okay. What is a red flag that looks good in a foreign country?
A red flag that looks good
Yeah,
in a foreign country? Being very romantic ladies' man knowing what he's doing.
good answer. Most romantic language?
I really like Italian.
What country gives the best compliments?
Italy.
That's it.
All right.
And
3, 2, 1. Best national. Let me restart.
she's so excited to ask me these questions.
3, 2, 1. Best nationality to hook up with.
German.
Ooh, quick. Which country had the most attractive people?
Italy or Germany?
Where is the least appropriate place you've had relations abroad?
My bathroom.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to hear about that out there. Best city for a summer romance.
Probably Italy, or specifically like Florence or Rome.
Love it. Have you ever gone back to someone else's hotel room the same day that you met them?
No,
Really?
no,
What's the most unhinged thing you've done to keep a foreign fling going?
nothing. I'm not unhinged. And also, like, if you want to go, bye bye.
Good. What's the worst post-fling come down you've had after flying home?
I didn't have to fly. He left and it sent me into oblivion.
Okay. Have you ever rebooked a flight just to stay for someone?
Yes.
Oh. Ever hooked up with someone while on a group trip and then had to pretend it didn't happen?
Yes.
The sketchiest living situation you've walked into for a relation abroad.
Probably just like an incredible run of roommates.
Okay.
So many people in the house.
Have you ever not remembered someone's name post hookup?
No.
Good. Okay, last one. Green or red flag? He doesn't have social media.
Green. Green flag.
Fun. I like rapid fire.
I love rapid fire. We got to do that more. That's
New
fun.
segment.
Oh my gosh. It's a little incriminating, but hopefully you guys are respectful of the fact that we're sharing these things.
Yeah, hopefully this hits the right audience.
So all foreign flings aside, craziness, partying, getting robbed. Gosh, it even sounds crazy saying it out loud. That summer of travel before we, made Guatemala our home base and started to build Born to Be Local was so impactful in so many ways and was so necessary. And we're so glad that we did that like before we came here.
Yeah, it definitely really gave us that full experience of embodying, like, spontaneity and the energy that you get from traveling and meeting new people, seeing new places. That is exactly what we're trying to do with Born to Be Local. We're trying to spread that to the world and make sure everyone experiences that as well because it really can be life-changing.
Felt like the summer started, and I don't feel like my summer has ever ended. I feel like we've created a life for ourselves that just feels like an endless summer in the best way possible, and, we also realize how important it was for every day of our lives, including our work, to be something that we enjoyed so much. And we enjoy travel so much. So we knew that we wanted to make it our work in some capacity. And it really was the best summer ever, truly.
It was. We got out all of our dreams and desires on that trip, and it really prepared us for what we're doing now. Definitely wasn't about ticking off countries. It was about finding a version of ourselves that we had to unlock, a version of ourselves that we knew was always there, but we just had to take a crazy step and do something to find it.
Absolutely. If you are thinking about taking the trip, let this be your sign, whether you want to come to Guatemala, see us, we'll help you plan your trip, or if you want to go somewhere else, just take the trip. You never know what's going to happen. It could be just a really impactful thing on your life. Well, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much to all the new followers we're getting from TikTok and Instagram from our series. We love you guys so much. And make sure and follow us on Instagram, born2belocal.pod on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube, Born to Be Local Podcast, and Born to Be Local Podcast on Spotify, all the things. We are posting a lot of content on TikTok and a lot of content that just a bunch of different content. So make sure and follow us on there. You can see a little bit more about our lives and business and just fun stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.